بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين إنه خير ناصر ومعين. As the third and last part of Azadari, we're going to deal with the sunnah of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And because of the sheer amount of hadith that we have about this topic, I had to write them down for you. At first, you should know that from almost every imam and infallibles, we have hadith and narration about establishing mourning ceremonies for Abu Abdullah, or weeping and crying for him whenever they had the chance or whenever they remembered the name of Abu Abdullah al-Hussain. Let's start with Lady Fatima Zahra salamullah alayha. We have in a narration that Rasulullah told her about the martyrdom of his beloved son Abu Abdullah al-Hussain, and she got restless and cried. But she calmed down when Rasulullah gave her the news of Al-Mahdi, the Savior, who is going to take revenge for Abu Abdullah. And many other narrations about Lady Fatima. She has a very long elegy about the martyrdom of Hussain alayhi salam, and you can find it in the kutub of riwayat. We also have the narration from Imam Ali alayhi salam that it is said they were traveling with two other people, and they reached the Nainava, they say, the soil next to Furat, or Euphrates in English. And at this moment, they saw that Amir al-Mu'mineen was troubled, and he was pointing everywhere with his finger as if he was imagining the event of Ashura. And he was saying, this is the place that they stopped. Here is the place that they set up. They will set a camp. And that is the place that my son Hussain will going to get martyred, and his blood will be spilled. And he started to cry for Abu Abdullah. There is also another hadith narrated from Ibn Abbas that he said, I was traveling with Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam, and we reached the soil of Karbala, and the Imam alayhi salam was troubled and started to speak about the event of Ashura, that what is going to happen to Abu Abdullah. And that time I also cried along with Imam alayhi salam. And about Imam al-Hasan, also we have another narration about Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. You have heard this very famous saying, La yawm ka yawmaki Abu Abdullah. It is from Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. He said this when he was crying and weeping for the difficulties and hardship that Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam was going to get through and to suffer from that hardship. We also have narrations from Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam himself. This is a very famous narration. أنا قتيل العبرة لا يذكرني مؤمن إلا بكى. Imam alayhi salam said, I'm the martyr, I'm the murdered of tears, teardrops. No faithful, no believer would reminded of me except they cry for me. That's a saying from Abu Abdullah that shows the significance of crying and weeping for him, especially at the day of Ashura. Also we have Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salam. Actually, Imam al-Sajjad is one of a kind. He is considered as one of the 5 people who cried the most throughout the history. They are called Al-Khamsatul Baqiyah. The first one is Adam Abul Bashar for being cast out of heaven. The second one is Ya'qub for being separated from his son Yusuf alayhi salam, and also Yusuf is the next person who actually cried and wept for his father so much, that considered along these 5 people. And we have Lady Fatima Zahra salamullah alayha, that she wept and cried for the martyrdom or demise of his father. And last one is Imam Ali ibn al-Hussain alayhi salam, who is considered the fifth person among this group. Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam says he had wept for 20 years, or in some narrations for 40 years, for Abu Abdullah al-Hussain. Whenever he crossed a butchery, he was reminded of Abu Abdullah, that they slaughtered his father like a lamb. When he was brought food or water, he reminded of the event of Ashura and said, my father was thirsty and my father was hungry when they slaughtered him. Moving on to the next Imam, Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, it is very interesting about Imam al-Baqir. Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam says it is recommended the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah on the 10th day of Muharram, Ashura. And here he says something very significant. من زار الحسين يوم العاشوراء من المحرم حتى يظل عنده باكيا لقى الله تعالى يوم القيامة بثواب ألفي ألف حجة وألفي ألف غزوة وألفي ألف عمرة مع رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. It is very important. What is the meaning of this narration? Imam alayhi salam says, whoever visit the holy grave of Abu Abdullah on the day of Ashura and cry for him and weep for him on that day until the sunset, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him the thawab of 1,000,000 hajj, 1,000,000 umrah, and 1,000,000 war along with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The narrator says, Ya Abu Abdullah, what about those people who are not so close to the grave of Abu Abdullah? They are far away. They don't have the chance to be with the Imam on the day of Ashura. What should they do? Imam alayhi salam gave them the instruction, which is very important, but some part is very significant. يَبْكِي وَيَأْمُرُ مَنْ فِي دَارِهِ بِالْبُكَاءِ عَلَيْهِ. If you are away from the holy grave of Abu Abdullah, you're not in Karbala, you're in some other places, you don't have the honor to be with the Imam on that time. So even if you are at your house, cry for Abu Abdullah and order your people, order your family to cry for Abu Abdullah as well. If you do so, Imam alayhi salam said, I am the person who actually guarantee you the thawab of 1,000,000 hajj, 1,000,000 umrah, and 1,000,000 ghazwa or war along with Rasulullah. And we also have the narration from Al-Mesbah alayhi salam. He established mourning ceremonies for Hussain alayhi salam and asked Ja'far ibn Affan, a famous poet at that time, to recite an elegy for Abu Abdullah. And after that said, قال ما من أحد قال في الحسين شعرا فبكى وأبكى به إلا أوجب الله له الجنة وغفر له. Imam alayhi salam said, there isn't anyone to recite a poet, an elegy for Abu Abdullah and weep and make other people to weep for Abu Abdullah, except that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would give him the thawab and would give them al-Jannah, the paradise itself. So we have many other narrations from Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, but you should know that one significant point out of all these traditions and sunnah from Ahlul Bayt is that the sunnah and the tradition of Azadari and holding and establishing mourning ceremonies for Abu Abdullah is something that goes way back and is something which is authenticated and approved by Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.